The corridor pulsed with new life after the weaving. The golden path beneath their feet shimmered. It was steadier now, yet hummed faintly with the fragments they had bound together. Cale walked in silence, still shaken by the flood of memories. The soldier's farewell, the child's laughter, the storm at sea. They hadn't vanished. He could feel them inside him, woven into the thread of his own being. Myra brushed her fingers along the air beside them, where faint after-images trailed like smoke. "Look," she whispered. The fragments hadn't dissolved completely. Echoes shimmered at the edges of the path, translucent visions flickering in and out of shape. A boy chasing a wooden hoop, a mother cradling an infant, a ship cresting a wave that broke into nothing. Cale's chest tightened. "They're alive," he said. "Echoes," Myra murmured. "Shadows of what we wove together." Not whole, but not lost either. One vision turned its head, and for a heartbeat Cale swore the boy's eyes met his, wide, searching, almost grateful. Then the image unraveled into threads of light, drifting upward into the lattice. Cale staggered. "They see us." "They remember," Myra said softly, though her voice trembled. "And maybe they expect something." The air shifted. A low vibration coursed through the dreaming, as though their weaving had drawn attention. Ahead, the golden path fractured, splitting into 3 threads of light that stretched into different horizons. One glowed steady, silver-tinted, resonating with calm. Another flickered with restless fire, unstable but calling. The third was darker, its light veiled, pulsing faintly as though alive with secrets. Cale swallowed. "It wants us to choose again." Before Myra could reply, a ripple surged behind them. The echoes they had created stirred, rising from the edges of the path, drawn toward the forks ahead. The boy, the mother, the soldier, the storm. They drifted forward, each pulled toward a different path. Cale's heart raced. "The echoes are guiding us," he said. Myra frowned. "Or warning us." They stood at the crossroads of light, echoes dissolving into the threads before them. Each choice hummed with weight, as if the dreaming itself leaned in to listen. "If every weaving leaves an echo, then every step will carry consequences." Her fingers tightened around his. "Then we need to be certain," she said. "Because whatever we choose now," she nodded toward the glowing forks, where the echoes bled into the paths, "will decide what part of them survives." The dreaming pulsed once, a soundless heartbeat. The golden thread behind them flickered, urging them onward. Ahead, the 3 paths shimmered, waiting. The 3 paths shimmered, each singing with its own resonance. The silver glow rang like a bell submerged in deep water, endless and patient. The fiery strand spat sparks that scorched the air, promising movement, risk, and revelation. The veiled thread pulsed like a hidden heartbeat, its light dim but steady, drawing Cale's gaze again and again, though it made his stomach knot. Myra studied them, brow furrowed. It isn't just a choice of direction. It's a choice of tone, a way of walking. Cale nodded, throat tight. The echoes drifted forward, dissolving one by one into the strands. The laughing boy melted into the silver. The storm scattered into fire. The soldier's bowed head sank into shadow. Each vision seemed to find its home, claimed by the path that called it. Cale's hand shook as he pointed. They belonged to them, to those strands. "Or the strands are claiming them," Myra murmured. The lattice above quivered, like a web touched by something vast. Cale felt eyes, no, awareness, press against his skin. The dreaming was watching. The silver strand swelled with serenity, pulling at his chest, a promise of clarity. The fire burned in his veins, daring him to leap. The shadowed thread whispered, "You will not return the same." Cale turned to Myra. "How do we decide?" Her gaze was steady, though her voice trembled. Not with fear and not with longing. "We listen." Together they closed their eyes. The hum of the silver strand filled Cale's lungs, cool and clean, a place of reflection. The fire crackled in his veins, tempting him with motion, destruction, and renewal. And the shadowed thread. It seeped deeper, showing him glimpses of faces he hadn't known he carried. Ancestors, forgotten voices, possibilities of truths he might not want but could never unlearn. Cale opened his eyes first. The silver feels safe, but maybe too safe. Like we'd lose ourselves in calm. Myra's lips parted. "The fire is dangerous. It wants to burn through us. I don't know if we'd come back." "And the dark?" he asked. She hesitated, then met his gaze. It feels like it knows us already. The dreaming pulsed again, that silent heartbeat echoing in their bones. The threads brightened, demanding a choice. Kale reached for her hand. Whatever path we take, we walk it together. Her grip was fierce, always. The echoes swirled once more, drifting like leaves toward the threads. The boys' laughter echoed faintly in the silver. The storm cracked in the fire. The soldier's shadow bowed in the dark. Kyle exhaled. Then we follow. The path they chose flared, consuming their vision, pulling them forward into its current. At first, there was only stillness. Kyle blinked, expecting light, color, or voices, but the dreaming pressed inward like a hushed cathedral. The air felt thick, laden with a silence that was not empty, but watching. His breath stirred faint ripples that drifted outward, vanishing into endless pale light. Myra's hand slipped into his. It's quiet. Too quiet, Kale murmured, unsure whether the words belonged to fear or reverence. Shapes emerged slowly, carved from mist, tall planes of shimmering glass suspended in the air. They weren't solid mirrors, but surfaces alive with shifting colors, bending and flowing like liquid silver. As they moved, reflections gathered. Kale's own face blinked back at him, not one but dozens, each caught in a slightly different moment. One frowned, another smiled faintly. One bore a scar he had never known, another looked far older, weathered, tired. These aren't just reflections, he murmured. They're possibilities, Myra whispered, gazing at her own shifting selves. One looked younger, untouched by sorrow. Another's eyes were hard, distant, almost cruel. What we were, what we could be, what we fear becoming. The silver surfaces rippled at her words, as if acknowledging them. Their reflections pressed closer, heavy but not hostile, demanding to be seen. Kyle swallowed hard. A thought tugged at him, unbidden. To walk further, we must face them. One mirror flared brighter, and his reflection within it lifted a hand, pressing palm to glass. Kale's own hand tingled, drawn upward. The air hummed, resonant, waiting. Myra's voice trembled. If we touch them, we let them in, Kyle finished, chest tightening. But maybe that's the lesson. Not to fight the echoes. To weave them into us. The silver corridor around them shifted, threads of light folding inward. With each step forward, the reflections grew clearer, closer, until the path ahead was nothing but an endless hall of their own possible selves. And from somewhere deep within the lattice, a whisper rose like a current through the stillness. Know thyself, or be unmade. Kale's hand hovered above the mirror, fingers tingling with energy. The reflection that pressed back was not entirely him. Older, younger, joyful, haunted. Yet every flicker felt like a truth he had denied. Myra's gaze darted across the mirrored surfaces, trembling. They're us, but not just us. Every possibility, Kale said softly. Every choice we didn't make. Every fear we ran from. The corridor pulsed, as if responding to his words. One reflection stepped forward, mirroring his hesitation perfectly. Its eyes bored into his, silent but insistent. Do you acknowledge me or turn away? Kale felt a surge of panic. He could retreat, deny what he saw, ignore the reflections and rush forward. That would be easiest. But every fiber of the lattice thrummed with warning. Resistance will fracture you. He swallowed, drawing a slow, steadying breath. We face them, he whispered. Myra nodded, squeezing his hand. Together, they stepped closer. Kale touched the glass. The surface rippled like water beneath his fingers. His reflection shivered, then opened its mouth to speak, though no sound came. Images and sensations flashed inside him. Fear he had never named, grief he had buried, courage he had forgotten. Myra mirrored him, reaching out. The reflection beside her shimmered, dissolving fragments of shame and doubt into threads of light that wove into the silver corridor. The more they accepted, the stronger the path became. Shadows of past mistakes, missed opportunities, and unspoken truths folded into the lattice. But they no longer pressed against them. They flowed around, part of the current, rather than a weight to bear. Kale exhaled, heart pounding. It's not just showing us. It's letting us hold it. A pulse ran through the mirrors, soft but undeniable. The dreaming whispered again. Acknowledgement is the first step toward weaving. The corridor brightened, the silver threads coalescing into a smoother path forward. The reflections settled into their surfaces, serene rather than accusing. Kale and Myra could move now without hesitation, carrying the echoes with them, stronger for having accepted them rather than resisted. Ahead, a flicker of warmer light suggested the path would soon change again. Perhaps fire, perhaps shadow. But the lesson of the silver path was clear. Perception shaped reality, and acknowledgement wove the world together. The silver threads beneath their feet faded gradually, replaced by a faint warmth that hummed against their skin. The corridor narrowed, walls bending like molten metal, edges flickering as if alive. Ahead, a river of amber and red light pulsed with restless energy, the path calling to them with a rhythm that set their nerves alight. Kale glanced at Myra. "This feels different," she nodded, eyes scanning the shimmering currents. "Dangerous but necessary, it's the next lesson." The golden thread that had led them here split into tongues of fire, dancing across the floor like living streams. Kale could feel them probing, responding to his presence, testing his focus. Every step required intention. A thoughtless move could ignite a flare that would push them off balance. From the heart of the flames, the lattice whispered again. Courage shapes reality, but only when tempered by control. A figure emerged from the flickering light, tall, indistinct, its form shifting like smoke and ember. Kale recognized the stranger. He had appeared once more, now part of the fire itself. "The dreaming tests the will," the stranger intoned, voice echoing as if from multiple sources. "You cannot simply step forward. You must shape the current, or it will consume you." Kyle felt the heat lashing at his awareness, pulling fragments of fear from deep within. Shadows of doubt swirled among the flames. Memories of failure, hesitation, voices that whispered you are not enough. Myra's hand squeezed his. "We're still together. Remember the silver path. We control the thread by how we move through it." Kale nodded, inhaling sharply. He focused on the flow of the fire, imagining the strands bending around them, not against them. The flames rippled in response, coalescing into pathways instead of walls. Step by careful step they advanced, weaving their will into the lattice. Sparks leapt like curious eyes, testing, probing, but yielding to their synchronized movement. Each choice, each breath, strengthened the threads. The stranger's form shimmered brighter. Every decision leaves an echo. Every hesitation leaves a mark. You are both creators and witnesses. Kale's chest tightened. The threads pulsed, and he realized that the fire wasn't merely a trial. It was a mirror, reflecting the courage they had yet to fully claim. Myra's eyes met his, and without a word, they leaned into the flames together, letting their intent guide the flow. Ahead, a doorway of molten light opened, stable and welcoming for the first time. The fire had recognized them, acknowledged their awareness, and parted. The golden threads of the lattice extended forward, leading them deeper, toward the next challenge of the dreaming, and the next revelation about themselves.